Black Panther is one of the most recognizable and perhaps even most important members of Marvel's stable of heroes. He's come a long way since he first appeared in the 60s, from the jungles of Wakanda through a civil war, battle world, and beyond. From the comic page to the silver screen, come along with us as we take a look at the evolution of Black Panther. And if you enjoy this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when we upload fresh content. Created by the legendary comic creators Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, Black Panther first appeared in Fantastic Four issue number 52 way back in July of 1966. The character was the first superhero of African descent within the major comic book lines, being introduced years before fellow Marvel heroes the Falcon and Luke Cage, and even before DC's Jon Stewart. Here's a fun little fact: the character's name Black Panther is often associated with the Black Panther political group that popped up around the same time as the character's creation. However, the character was created first, and the two sharing a similar name is purely coincidental. At one point, Marvel actually tried renaming the character to Black Leopard to try to distance him from the group, but it ultimately didn't stick, as readers and even the people who worked at Marvel kept calling him by his original name, so they kind of just abandoned the idea pretty quickly. And as I said, he made his debut alongside the Fantastic Four and would subsequently guest star in several issues with them and other comic book characters for quite a while, before venturing over to America to join the Avengers in May 1968. He would continue serving as a sort of secondary character for years, until finally being given a lead role headlining the Jungle Action comics for 19 issues between July 1973 and November 1976. Though the series was popular with college-age readers, Jungle Action wasn't able to pull in very good numbers, and the low sales coupled with a few missed deadlines caused the series to be canceled after issue number 24. Black Panther was saved from the chopping block, however, and brought back in his own series, with Jack Kirby, fresh off of his brief stint at rival DC Comics, back to serve as writer, artist, and editor in January 1977. The series continued in one way or another all the way until February 2011, when it merged with Daredevil after Black Panther was invited by Matt Murdock to become the new protector of Hell's Kitchen in his stead. Now here's another bonus fact: during this time in the comics, T'Challa was actually married to Aurora Monroe, perhaps better known as Storm from the X-Men, which is actually something that they could totally do in the films now, I guess. Now let's talk about the character's comic origins. T'Challa was the firstborn son of T'Chaka, the reigning king of the fictional African country Wakanda. T'Chaka isolated the technologically advanced nation from the world, hoping to prevent their technology from being used by the wrong people. After a man by the name of Ulysses Claw infiltrated the country and killed T'Chaka, however, that all changed. T'Challa then spent the next several years of his childhood training and studying at the best schools around the world, before returning to Wakanda to face the trials of secession, earning the title of Black Panther and taking his rightful place on the throne. This does slightly differ from what we saw in Captain America Civil War, where T'Challa already was sort of Black Panther before his father's death at the hands of Zemo under the guise of the Winter Soldier, as opposed to Ulysses Claw. In addition to his genius level intellect and athletic abilities on par with Olympic champions, gaining the mantle of Black Panther also granted T'Challa access to a heart-shaped herb that linked him to Bast, the Panther god, and bestowed upon him superhuman abilities. Now, some of these abilities have sort of came and went as the character has evolved under different writers. He has always had the basics, super speed, super strength, a healing factor, all that, but he has also had access to such crazy things as visions of the future, Galactus's cosmic sight, and even freaking necromancy. And that's true. At one point, T'Challa became the King of the Dead and gained the ability to raise an army of zombies to do his bidding. That's actually pretty badass. Weird, but badass. In the MCU, his powers are a bit more down to earth, being much more based around his tech than the influence of a Panther god. For instance, his suit is a vibranium weave, and he's shown using plenty of different gizmos and gadgets, such as the stealth jet that he used to track Tony Stark in Civil War, and his trademark vibranium claws. Now, like any good comic book character, there have been different versions of the Black Panther, be it different people who took up the mantle or even completely different versions on other Earths within the multiverse. First up, let's talk about the people who have taken the name in sort of the main continuity. First up is Casper Cole, a young man who becomes the Black Panther, taking up the iconic suit and powers in order to track down a young child who was kidnapped. He would eventually move on from that name and become the White Tiger, continuing to fight crime for some time. The most noteworthy person to bear the name, however, is probably T'Challa's sister, Shuri. Shuri became the leader of Wakanda and the new Black Panther when her brother was injured in battle against Dr. Doom, though she eventually gave up the persona once T'Challa recovered. As far as alternate Earth versions, there's Chieftain Justice of Earth 6606, Panther of Earth 1119, who is a member of the Exiles, a team of interdimensional heroes, T'Chaka II, the Coal Tiger from Earth 982, which itself is better known as the MC2 universe. Of course, who could forget Bronze Panther from the Amalgam Comics line? Amalgam Comics was a collaboration between DC and Marvel that saw characters from both companies smashed together to create amalgamations, hence the name. And in case you were curious, Bronze Panther is a combination of Black Panther from Marvel and Bronze Tiger from DC. And then there is the MCU version of the character, which debuted in Captain America Civil War as portrayed by Chadwick Boseman. Boseman reprises the role in the character's first ever solo film, Black Panther, as well as the upcoming Avengers Infinity War. It's also probably pretty safe to assume that he'll more than likely return for the yet untitled Avengers 4, though I guess they could kill him off. I kind of doubt it though. And if he does make it through all this Thanos stuff, I'm sure he'll have a long future of fantastic stories ahead of him. Are you a fan of Black Panther? What other characters would you like to see us do something like this on in the future? Let us know in the comments down below. Who knows, maybe someday you'll see your suggestion made into a video. And if you're watching this on Facebook, click the link to be taken to our YouTube channel for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching.